Marcus Thompson had everything a 19-year-old could want. A freshman at Northwestern University studying economics. A family that loved him fiercely. And right now, a week before Christmas, he was standing at the base of Vail Resort in Colorado, staring up at snow-covered peaks that looked like something out of a postcard. "This place is insane," his younger sister Zoe said, her breath forming clouds in the December air. She was 17, all energy and excitement, already strapping on her rental skis. Their father, David Thompson, smiled as he adjusted his designer snow jacket. "Only the best for my family. We earned this." And they had. David Thompson's story was the kind people wrote articles about. Born in Southside Chicago to a single mother who worked 2 jobs, he clawed his way through community college, then state university, then got an MBA from Wharton on scholarship. By 35, he was a senior trader at a major Wall Street firm. By 42, he'd made partner at a private equity fund. The money came fast after that. David never forgot where he came from, but he also wasn't ashamed of where he'd arrived. He bought his mother a house in a quiet suburb. He married Nicole, a brilliant corporate attorney he met at a charity gala. They had Marcus, then Zoe. They moved to a beautiful brownstone in Brooklyn Heights. And every Christmas, they took a trip somewhere extraordinary. This year, Vail Resort, premium suite, private ski lessons for Zoe, access to the most exclusive runs on the mountain. "Dad's living his best life," Marcus said to his mother, watching David fist bump the resort concierge like they were old friends. Nicole laughed. "Your father worked hard to give you kids opportunities he never had. Let him enjoy it." "I'm not complaining," Marcus said quickly. "This is amazing. I don't know. Sometimes it feels like we're trying really hard to prove something." His mother's expression softened. "Maybe we are. Maybe that's okay." That night, the Thompson family had dinner at the resort's 5-star restaurant. Crystal chandeliers, Wagyu steaks, wine that cost more than most people's weekly groceries. As they ate, David raised his glass. A toast to family, to success, to making our own luck in this world. They all clinked glasses, even though Marcus and Zoe were technically underage. The resort didn't ask questions when you were staying in a $10,000 a night suite. Marcus looked around the restaurant. At the wealthy families, the designer clothes, the casual luxury that cost more than his grandfather had probably earned in a lifetime. Something felt off. Not wrong, exactly. Just hollow. "You okay, honey?" his mother asked, noticing his expression. "Yeah," Marcus said, shaking it off. "Just thinking about finals. I'm good." But he wasn't thinking about finals. He was thinking about his grandmother, David's mother, who had died 3 years ago. She'd been deeply religious, raised David in a small Baptist church on the South Side. She never cared about money or status. She'd visited them once in their Brooklyn brownstone and had looked uncomfortable the entire time, like she didn't recognize her own son anymore. Before she died, she'd pulled Marcus aside at the hospital. "Baby," she'd said, her voice weak. "Don't let money make you forget who you are. Don't let it make you hard. Your daddy worked hard and I'm proud of him. But success ain't the same as goodness. You remember that." Marcus had promised he would, but standing here in Vail, surrounded by wealth and privilege, he wondered if any of them remembered. The next morning, Marcus woke up early. The family had plans: skiing, then hot chocolate by the lodge fireplace, then maybe ice skating. But Marcus wanted to do something alone first. He grabbed his snowboard, his one non-designer possession, a beat-up Burton board he'd had since high school, and headed to the mountain lifts before anyone else woke up. The resort was just opening. Fresh snow had fallen overnight. The peaks looked pristine, untouched, almost sacred. Marcus took the lift to the intermediate runs, but when he got to the top, he noticed something. A trail marker he'd never seen before. It looked old, faded, almost hidden by snow. The sign read, "Closed trail, avalanche danger, do not enter." But there were fresh tracks in the snow leading past the sign. Someone had gone down recently, and from what Marcus could see, the run looked incredible. Steep, fast, completely untouched powder. He hesitated. This was exactly the kind of reckless thing his grandmother would have warned him about. The kind of thing that proved you had more money than sense. But then again, someone had clearly just gone down it, and nothing bad had happened to them. Marcus glanced around. No ski patrol in sight. No other boarders nearby. Just him and the mountain. "One run," he muttered to himself. "Just one." He pushed off, crossing the boundary rope and dropping into the forbidden trail. The snow was perfect, deep powder that sprayed up around his board like ocean surf. The slope was steep, steeper than anything he'd tried before, and the adrenaline hit him like a drug. This was living. This was freedom. The sound came first. A deep, low rumble that seemed to come from inside the mountain itself. Marcus looked up, still moving at speed, and saw it. A massive shelf of snow, hundreds of feet above him, breaking free from the mountainside. An avalanche. Time seemed to slow. He could see the wall of white rushing toward him with impossible speed. He tried to turn, tried to outrun it, tried to do anything, but you can't outrun a mountain. The snow hit him like a freight train. One moment he was riding the board. The next he was tumbling, spinning, buried in a crushing white void. He couldn't breathe, couldn't see, couldn't tell which way was up. He fought, desperate, clawing at the snow, but it was everywhere, packing tight around him, pressing down with the weight of 1,000 tons. His last coherent thought was a prayer, half remembered from childhood, something his grandmother used to say, "Jesus, help me." And then the cold darkness swallowed him whole. David Thompson knew something was wrong when Marcus didn't show up for breakfast. "Maybe he's sleeping in," Nicole suggested, but her voice was tight with worry. "Marcus doesn't sleep in," Zoe said quietly. "Ever." David tried his son's phone, straight to voicemail. He went to Marcus's room. The bed hadn't been slept in. The snowboard was gone. 20 minutes later, David was at the resort's main desk, trying to keep his voice calm. "My son went out early. He hasn't come back. I need to know if anyone saw him." The concierge's expression shifted from professional courtesy to genuine concern. "When did you last see him, sir?" "Last night, around 10 p.m. "And his snowboard is missing?" "Yes." The concierge picked up a phone. "I'm calling Ski Patrol." Within an hour, the resort had mobilized a search. Ski Patrol traced Marcus's lift ticket scan to the upper mountain. They found his tracks. And then they found where those tracks crossed into the closed avalanche zone. "No," David whispered when they showed him. "No, he wouldn't. He's smarter than that." But the tracks didn't lie. The avalanche had come down around 7:30 a.m. Marcus had triggered it himself by riding onto an unstable snow shelf. The slide had carried tons of snow, and Marcus, more than half a mile down the mountain into a steep ravine. "We're bringing in avalanche dogs," the patrol chief said gently, "and we have a team with probes. But Mr. Thompson, I need you to understand. It's been over 3 hours. In an avalanche burial, the survival window is about 15 minutes. After 30 minutes, the chances drop to less than 30%. He could still be alive," David said, his voice breaking. "He could have an air pocket." "We're doing everything we can, sir." The search took 4 days. 4 days of David standing at the base of the mountain, refusing to leave, watching rescue teams dig through packed snow and debris. 4 days of Nicole crying in their hotel room, unable to eat, unable to sleep. 4 days of Zoe sitting in numb silence, staring at nothing. On day 4, the avalanche dogs found him. Marcus Thompson's body was recovered from under 12 feet of compacted snow. His neck had been broken in the initial tumble. Death had been instantaneous, the coroner said later. He probably never even knew what hit him. Small mercy. The Thompsons flew home on a private medical transport, Marcus's body in the cargo hold. David sat in the cabin, staring out the window at clouds that looked like snow. Nicole tried to hold his hand, but David pulled away. "I gave him everything," David said, his voice hollow. "Everything I never had. The best schools, the best opportunities, safety, security, and he threw it away for a thrill." "David, don't..." "He should have been smarter," David continued, his grief turning to anger. "He should have thought. He had every advantage, every privilege, and he just wasted it." Nicole started to cry. Zoe, sitting across from them, looked at her father with something close to horror. "Dad," she whispered, "he's dead. He's gone. Don't do this." But David couldn't stop, because anger was easier than grief. Blame was easier than acceptance. Over the next 6 months, David threw himself into work. 16-hour days, no vacations, no family dinners. He avoided looking at Marcus's empty seat at the table. He sold the Brooklyn brownstone, too many memories, and moved the family to a sterile penthouse apartment in Manhattan. He never went back to Vail, but he couldn't stop thinking about snow. Nicole begged him to see a therapist. David refused. Zoe became withdrawn, spending more and more time at her best friend's house, anywhere but home. The Thompson family was falling apart, and then David's business partners suggested a trip. "You need to get away, man," Richard said. "Clear your head. I've got a place in Aspen. Beautiful cabin, totally private. Come for a weekend, bring Nicole, reconnect." David almost said no, but Nicole looked at him with such desperate hope that he couldn't refuse. So in late June, 6 months after Marcus's death, David and Nicole flew to Aspen. The cabin was beautiful, rustic but luxurious, perched on a hillside with views of snow-capped peaks. Even in summer, there was snow at the higher elevations. David stood on the deck that first evening, watching the sun set over the mountains, and felt something crack inside his chest. "I miss him," he said suddenly. Nicole, standing beside him, took his hand. This time, he didn't pull away. "I know," she whispered. "I do too. I was so angry at him, for being reckless, for leaving us, but it wasn't his fault. He was just a kid who made a stupid mistake, and I never got to tell him I loved him one more time." He knew David. He always knew. David started to cry, deep, wrenching sobs he'd been holding back for 6 months. Nicole held him as he broke, and for the first time since Marcus died, David let himself feel the full weight of his grief. The next morning, David woke up with a strange urge. He wanted to hike. Nicole was still sleeping. David left a note, grabbed a water bottle, and headed up a trail behind the cabin. It was a beautiful June morning, cool and clear. The trail was well marked at first, but David, lost in thought, missed a fork and ended up on a steeper path that wound up toward a glacier field. He should have turned back, but something pulled him forward, a need to be close to the mountains, close to where Marcus had died. As if proximity to snow could bring him closer to his son, the trail grew dangerous. Loose rock, narrow ledges, and then David heard it. A crack. He looked up and saw a massive ice shelf breaking free from the glacier above. A glacial avalanche, rarer than a snow avalanche, but infinitely more deadly. Tons of ice and rock came thundering down the mountainside. David tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. The last thing he thought before the impact was, "Marcus, I'm coming, son." And then David Thompson's world went dark. When Marcus opened his eyes, he was lying in a bed. A real bed. Soft sheets, warm blankets, natural light streaming through a window. He sat up slowly, confused. The last thing he remembered was snow. Crushing, suffocating snow, pressing down from all sides. The sound of his own muffled screams, and then nothing. But now he felt fine. No pain, no cold, just confusion. The room was simple but beautiful. Clean white walls, a wooden nightstand, fresh flowers in a vase by the window. Through the glass, he could see what looked like a small village. White buildings with terracotta roofs, cobblestone streets, people walking calmly below. And in the distance, mountains, mountains with snow. Marcus's chest tightened. Where the hell was he? The door opened. A young man walked in. Latino, maybe 22, wearing casual clothes that looked almost normal. Jeans, a simple gray Henley, sneakers. He had an easy confidence about him, the kind of presence that made you relax even before he spoke. Something about his eyes suggested he'd seen some shit and come out the other side. He was carrying a tray with soup and bread. "You're awake," the young man said, setting the tray on the nightstand. "Good. You've been out for about 3 days. Marcus's voice came out hoarse. 3 days? Where am I? What hospital is this?" The young man pulled up a chair and sat down, leaning forward with his elbows on his knees. "Okay, so I'm gonna be straight with you because when I woke up in a room like this, people danced around the truth for way too long and it just made everything harder. My name's Ryan Martinez, and this isn't a hospital, not the kind you're thinking of anyway." "What do you mean?" Ryan took a breath. "Marcus, you died. The avalanche in Vale killed you. Your body was buried under 12 feet of snow for 4 days before they found it." Marcus stared at him. "That's not funny, man." "I'm not joking. I feel fine. I'm right here. I'm alive." Ryan nodded. "Yeah, I said the same thing. I woke up in a place like this a year ago and spent 3 days arguing with everyone that I couldn't possibly be dead because I felt too real. But here's the thing. You are real. Your body died, but you didn't. Your consciousness, your soul, whatever you want to call it, that survived. And right now, you're in the spiritual realm, a place called Bethlehem Heights." Marcus stood up abruptly, backing toward the window. "This is insane. You're insane. I need to find my family. I need to..." "Your family found your body 4 days ago," Ryan said, gently. They're back in New York right now, grieving. Your mom, your dad, your sister Zoe. I'm sorry, man, but yeah, you're dead. No. Marcus shook his head violently. No, I can't be. I can't be dead. I'm 19. I was just on vacation. I was just being reckless. Ryan finished. Doing something stupid that you knew was dangerous, but you did it anyway because you thought nothing bad could happen to you? Marcus froze. Ryan stood and walked to the window, standing beside Marcus. I died skateboarding through a closed tunnel in LA. 2 a.m. No helmet. Hit by a car going 30 miles an hour. My skull cracked open on impact. Dead before I even understood what happened. Marcus turned to look at him. You died like that? Yeah, reckless, stupid. 21 years old, thought I was invincible. Sound familiar? Snowboarding, Marcus whispered. I was snowboarding on a closed trail. I saw the avalanche warning. I went anyway. Same energy, different sport. Ryan gave him a sad smile. That's why they assigned me to be your first contact here, because I get it. I know exactly how you're feeling right now. The guilt, the confusion, the how could I be so stupid thoughts running through your head on repeat. Marcus sank back onto the bed. My family. Oh God, my family. I know. My dad worked so hard to give us everything, and I threw it away. For a thrill. For one run down a mountain. Ryan sat beside him. My grandmother prayed for me every single day. She begged me to be careful, and I ignored her. She died 2 years before I did. And when I got here, she was waiting for me. She'd been praying for my rescue since the moment I died. Your grandmother was here? Yeah, in a different colony, Casa de Socorro, but same basic setup. Places where spirits recover after traumatic deaths. Places where people who actually give a shit help you figure out what comes next. Marcus looked at Ryan, really looked at him. You seem okay. How long did it take you to accept this? About a week to accept I was dead. About a month to stop hating myself for dying. About 6 months to start helping others. Ryan leaned back. That's what I do now. I'm a spiritual rescuer. I go to the darker regions, the places where people get stuck after they die, and I help them find their way to places like this. And you came to get me? You weren't in the dark regions. You passed out right after you died, probably from shock and trauma. Your spirit went into a kind of spiritual coma while your consciousness processed what happened. Father Michael, he's the guide who rescued me. He asked me to be here when you woke up, said you'd need someone who understood. Marcus felt tears burning his eyes. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be dead. Nobody does at first, Ryan said. But you're not alone. Come on, let me show you around. Walking helps. They left the recovery building and stepped onto the cobblestone streets of Bethlehem Heights. Marcus stopped in his tracks. The village was stunning, not in a fake, too perfect way, but in a way that felt deeply peaceful. People walked the streets. Men, women, children, all of them moving with a calm purposefulness that Marcus had never seen in any city on earth. The colors were slightly brighter than they should be. The air was perfectly comfortable, not hot, not cold, and above everything, the sky shimmered with colors that didn't exist in any earthly sunset. This is real, Marcus whispered. More real than Earth, actually, Ryan said. Earth is like a training ground. This is where we really live. We just forget that when we're in physical bodies. They walked through the village. Ryan pointed out key buildings. The learning center, the gardens where residents grew spiritual food. Yes, you could still eat here, Ryan explained, though you didn't need to. The community hall. This place is different from Casa de Socorro where I recovered, Ryan said. That place is more of a hospital. This is more of a community, but the vibe is the same. People helping people, no money, no status, no bullshit, just service and love. It sounds too good to be true. It's not perfect, Ryan admitted. There are harder regions in the spiritual world, places where people who lived cruel or selfish lives have to face what they did. But this colony? Yeah, it's pretty damn good. They reached a garden overlooking the village. Marcus could see the mountains in the distance, beautiful and serene, nothing like the deadly peaks that had killed him. Why am I here? Marcus asked. In this specific place? Ryan was quiet for a moment. That's a question for Dr. Cross. He's one of the senior mentors here. He deals with the heavier stuff, past lives, karma, the big picture reasons why things happen. Past lives? Marcus looked at him sharply. Like reincarnation? Yeah, it's real. I didn't believe it either until Dr. Cross showed me my own past life. Turns out I wasn't always a skateboard kid from LA. I've been a lot of things over a lot of lifetimes, and so have you. And that matters because sometimes, Ryan said carefully, the way we die isn't random. Sometimes it's connected to things we did in past lives. Karma, cause and effect stretching across lifetimes. Marcus felt a chill run through him. Are you saying I deserve to die in an avalanche? No, Ryan said firmly. Nobody deserves to die at 19. But karma isn't about punishment, it's about learning. And you'll understand what I mean when you talk to Dr. Cross. Over the next few weeks, Marcus began to adjust. Ryan checked in on him daily, answering questions, offering perspective, making him laugh when the grief got too heavy. Marcus learned that he could still feel emotions here, maybe even more intensely than on Earth. He could still cry, still rage, still laugh. He also learned that Bethlehem Heights had a specific mission, helping spirits transition from Earth while honoring Christian principles. Not in a dogmatic, church on Sunday way, but in a love your neighbor, serve others way. And they took Christmas seriously. It was December 20th when Ryan brought Marcus to the central hall to see the decorations going up. Christmas here is different, Ryan explained. No Santa Claus, no presents, no spending money you don't have to impress people you don't like. Then what's the point? Marcus asked. The point is remembering what Jesus actually taught. Love, service, humility. His birthday isn't about capitalism. It's about celebrating the guy who taught us to care for each other. Marcus watched as residents decorated the hall with simple evergreen branches, handmade ornaments, and candles. Children from the colonies school sang carols. Not the commercial ones, but old hymns that Marcus vaguely remembered from his grandmother's church. Something about the simplicity made his chest ache. My family's probably decorating our penthouse right now, Marcus said quietly. My dad always hired a designer to do it. 15-foot tree, custom ornaments, everything coordinated. And was it meaningful? Ryan asked. Marcus thought about it. No, it was expensive, but not meaningful. Exactly. On Christmas Eve, the colony gathered for a celebration. No gifts exchanged, no elaborate meal, just stories, music, and a simple nativity scene performed by regular people from the village, reminding everyone that the divine shows up in ordinary moments, not just extraordinary ones. Marcus sat beside Ryan in the audience, watching the performance, and felt something crack open inside him. This was what his grandmother had tried to teach his father. Not success as proof of God's love, not wealth as spiritual validation. Just love, just service, just showing up for each other, everything his family had lost in their climb to the top. After the celebration, a tall older man with gray hair and piercing eyes approached them. Marcus Thompson, the man said in a deep, calm voice. I'm Dr. Elijah Cross. I mentor the more advanced spiritual workers here. Ryan tells me you're adjusting well. I'm trying, Marcus said. Good, because it's time we talked about why you're here and why you died the way you did. Dr. Cross gestured toward a quiet path. Walk with me, both of you. There's something you need to understand about your death, Marcus. It wasn't random. It wasn't just bad luck. Then what was it? Marcus asked. Karmic resolution, Dr. Cross said, and your father will soon experience the same thing. Marcus stopped walking. What do you mean, my father? Ryan put a hand on Marcus's shoulder. Listen to him, bro. This is the part that's going to be hard to hear, but you need to know. Dr. Cross looked at Marcus with infinite compassion. Come, I'll show you who you were before you were Marcus Thompson, and you'll understand why an avalanche took your life. Dr. Cross led Marcus to a building at the edge of the colony, a library of sorts filled with records and archives. In the spiritual realm, Dr. Cross explained, we have access to information about our past incarnations. Not everyone is ready to see their previous lives immediately, but in your case, understanding your past is essential to understanding your present. He pulled out what looked like an ancient ledger and opened it. In the year 1847, in the countryside of Yorkshire, England, you were born as Thomas Ashford. Your father was Lord Edmund Ashford, a wealthy landowner with vast estates and tenant farmers who worked his land. Marcus stared at the ledger. He couldn't read the language. It looked like old English script, but images began to form in his mind. Memories that weren't his own, but somehow were. He saw himself as a young man in Victorian England, privileged, arrogant, dressed in fine clothes, riding horses across sprawling estates, and he saw his father, Lord Edmund, a cruel man who ruled his tenants with an iron fist. Your father and you, Dr. Cross continued, had a particular punishment for workers you caught stealing from your lands. You would make them dig their own graves, deep wells in the ground, and then you would bury them alive in those wells. Marcus felt sick. No, I wouldn't. I couldn't. You did, multiple times. You called them thieves and vermin. You felt no remorse. In that life, you believed your wealth and status gave you the right to judge and execute anyone beneath you. The images came faster now. Marcus saw himself, Thomas, standing over a terrified farmhand who had stolen a single chicken to feed his starving children. He watched as the man dug deeper and deeper into the earth, begging for mercy. And then he watched as Thomas gave the signal and workers pushed the man into the well and buried him alive. Stop, Marcus whispered. Please stop. You need to see this, Dr. Cross said firmly. You did this at least 7 times in that lifetime, and your father, Edmund, did it dozens more. You learned cruelty from him, you perfected it together. Who was Edmund? Marcus asked, though he already knew the answer. Edmund Ashford was your father, David Thompson, in his previous incarnation. Marcus's legs gave out. He sank into a chair, his mind reeling. My dad was that monster? He was. And so were you. But here's what you need to understand about karma, Marcus. It's not punishment. It's education. Both you and your father needed to experience what you inflicted on others. You needed to understand the terror, the helplessness, the darkness of being buried alive. So I died in an avalanche because you buried men alive in your previous life, and your father, David, is about to experience the same lesson. Marcus looked up sharply. What do you mean about to? Dr. Cross's expression was somber. Your father is still alive on Earth, but his karma is unfinished. He will face the same death you did. Soon. No. Marcus stood, frantic. Can we stop it? Can we warn him? Karma can't be stopped, Marcus, but it can be softened. When your father arrives here, and he will, you can be there to help him. You can show him that death is not the end. You can help him heal the way Sister Grace helped you. When? Marcus demanded. When will it happen? 6 months from your death, June, in Aspen, Colorado. Marcus felt his world tilt. He went back to the mountains. Grief does strange things to people. He'll go hiking. He'll trigger a glacial avalanche, and he'll die the same way you did, buried under tons of ice and rock. Marcus began to pace. This is insane. There has to be another way. There isn't. But Marcus, listen to me. This is your chance at redemption. In your past life, you showed no mercy. In this life, you can show your father infinite compassion. You can be the one who rescues him from darkness. You can break the cycle of cruelty your family has been trapped in for lifetimes. Marcus stopped pacing. What do I have to do? You wait. You prepare. You train with us here in the colony to become a spiritual rescuer. And when your father's spirit arrives, confused and terrified, you'll be there. You'll be the light he needs. Marcus took a shaky breath. Okay, teach me. Over the next 6 months in spiritual time, Marcus threw himself into training. He learned how to guide confused spirits, how to project calm and love, how to recognize when someone is trapped in their own guilt and fear. He also learned about spiritual rescue missions, teams that ventured to the lower spiritual regions to help souls trapped in darkness, and he waited for the day his father would arrive. When David Thompson's spirit arrived at Bethlehem Heights, he was in worse shape than Marcus had been. Marcus watched from the observation wing of the recovery center as they brought his father in. David was unconscious, his spiritual body battered and faint, the result of both the physical trauma of his death and the emotional trauma of carrying 6 months of unresolved grief. Dr. Cross stood beside Marcus. Are you ready? Marcus nodded. Can I be there when he wakes up? You'll be the first person he sees. 3 days later, David opened his eyes. He was lying in a recovery bed, the same type Marcus had woken up in 6 months earlier. Sunlight streamed through the window, and sitting in a chair beside the bed, smiling, was his son. "Hey, Dad," Marcus said softly. David stared at him. "No, you're not real. I'm hallucinating." "You're not hallucinating. I'm really here." "Marcus died. I buried my son." "You're not. You can't, Dad. I need you to listen to me. You died too, 3 days ago. Glacial avalanche in Aspen. You didn't survive." David's face went through a dozen emotions in seconds. Denial, anger, confusion, horror. "No," he whispered. "Nicole, Zoe. I left them alone. I left them both. They'll be okay, Dad. It'll be hard, but they'll heal. And someday we'll all be together again. But right now, you're here, with me." David started to cry, deep, broken sobs that he'd been holding back for months, maybe lifetimes. Marcus moved to the bed and took his father's hand. "I know what we did, Dad. I know about England, about Lord Ashford and Thomas, about the wells." David looked up, shocked. "You know? Dr. Cross showed me. He showed me everything. What we did to those people, how cruel we were. And I understand now why we died the way we did. We deserved it," David said bitterly. "We deserved worse." "Maybe, but here's the thing, Dad. Karma isn't about punishment. It's about learning. We had to feel what we made others feel. The terror, the helplessness, being buried alive. And now that we felt it, we can choose differently." "Choose what?" "Redemption, service. We can help others who are trapped the way we were. We can become the kind of people who save instead of harm." David looked around the room, seeing it properly for the first time. "Where are we?" "A spiritual colony called Bethlehem Heights. It's a place of healing, and it's where we're going to start making up for what we did." Over the following months, David went through the same journey Marcus had. He learned about spiritual rescue. He celebrated Christmas in its truest form, not with wealth or gifts, but with love and service. And slowly, he began to forgive himself. One day, Marcus and Dr. Cross took David on his first rescue mission. They descended to a darker region of the spiritual plane, not quite the umbral, but close, where confused spirits were trapped in cycles of guilt and fear. They found a man who had died in a mining accident, buried under tons of rock, reliving his death over and over. David froze when he saw him. "I can't. I don't know what to say." "Yes, you do," Marcus said. "You know exactly what he's feeling. You've been there." David took a breath and approached the terrified spirit. "Sir, my name is David. I know you're scared. I know you think you'll be trapped here forever. But you won't. I was just like you. And someone helped me. Let me help you." The man looked up, desperate. "How? How do I get out?" "You follow me," David said, extending his hand, "and you trust that there's something better waiting." The man took David's hand, and together they walked toward the light. It was Christmas Eve in Bethlehem Heights, 1 year since Marcus had first arrived, 6 months since David had joined him. The colony was preparing for their annual celebration. Simple, heartfelt, focused on the message of love and redemption that Jesus represented. Marcus and David stood at the top of a hill overlooking the colony. Behind them, the spiritual mountains rose into a sky that shimmered with impossible colors. "You know what's weird?" Marcus said. "I used to hate Christmas. All the pressure to buy the right gifts, to look successful, to prove we'd made it." "I did that to you," David said quietly. "I made Christmas about money instead of meaning. We both got lost, Dad, but we're finding our way back." David looked at his son. "I'm proud of you, Marcus, for how you've handled all of this, for forgiving me. I'm proud of you too, for doing the work, for helping those spirits." They stood in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Marcus grinned. "You know what else is weird? There's snow here, spiritual snow, on spiritual mountains." David laughed. "I noticed that. You thinking what I'm thinking? Race you down?" They grabbed their spiritual snowboards. Yes, the colony had a recreation area with snow sports and made their way to the top of a pristine spiritual mountain slope. No danger here, no avalanches, no death, just joy. Marcus dropped in first, carving through perfect powder, and for the first time since he died, he felt completely, purely happy. David followed, laughing like he hadn't laughed in years, maybe lifetimes. Father and son, skiing together under an eternal sky, finally free from the weight of their past. When they reached the bottom, breathless and grinning, they found Dr. Cross waiting for them. Enjoying yourselves? He asked, amused. This is incredible, David said. I never knew the spiritual world could be like this. Most people don't, Dr. Cross replied. They think heaven is clouds and harps and eternal boredom, but the spiritual world is as rich and varied as the physical world, maybe more so. There's work here, yes, growth, learning, but there's also joy, beauty, love. Marcus looked at his father. You ready to go back to work? David nodded. Always. Dr. Cross smiled. Good, because there's a newly arrived spirit down in the lower regions. Young woman, died in a skiing accident. She's trapped in a loop, reliving her death over and over. She needs someone who understands. Marcus and David exchanged a look. We've got this, Marcus said. They made their way to the rescue staging area where Sister Grace was coordinating the mission. Thank you both for volunteering, she said. This young woman's name is Emily. She died 2 days ago at a resort in Aspen. Avalanche. Marcus's breath caught. Aspen? The same place Dad died? Yes. Apparently, the resort didn't properly mark the avalanche zones after your father's accident. This young woman made the same mistake you did, Marcus. David's face darkened. So our deaths, they didn't prevent hers? No, Sister Grace said gently. But your presence here can help her now. You can save her from the darkness that you both experienced. That's your redemption, David. Not preventing death? Death comes to everyone eventually, but helping souls find light after death. They descended to the lower region where Emily's spirit was trapped. She was younger than Marcus, maybe 17. She was running through an endless expanse of white, screaming, looking for help that never came. Marcus approached her slowly. Emily, my name is Marcus. I died the same way you did. She stopped running, staring at him with wild eyes. Am I dead? Is this real? You're dead. And this is real, but you don't have to stay here. My father and I, we can help you. David stepped forward. We know how scared you are. We've been exactly where you are, but there's a place where you can rest, where you can heal. Will you come with us? Emily looked at them, two strangers offering help in the darkness, and something in her expression shifted. Hope. Okay, she whispered. Please, get me out of here. Marcus took one of her hands. David took the other, and together the three of them walked toward the light. Back on Earth, Nicole Thompson stood in front of the Christmas tree in their Manhattan penthouse. It was December 24th, 1 year since Marcus died, 6 months since David died. She and Zoe were alone now. The tree was small this year, no expensive ornaments, no elaborate decorations, just simple lights and a few handmade ornaments that Marcus had made as a kid. Zoe came to stand beside her mother. Do you think they're together, wherever they are? Nicole wrapped an arm around her daughter. I do, I really do, and I think they're okay. Me too, Zoe said quietly. They stood there together, mother and daughter, finding comfort in a simple tree and the belief that love doesn't end when life does. High above. In Bethlehem Heights, Marcus and David watched their family through the spiritual veil that separates worlds. They're going to be okay, Marcus said. Yeah, David agreed. They are. And on Christmas morning, as the colony celebrated the true meaning of the holiday, love, service, redemption, Marcus and David understood something profound. Death had not ended their family, it had transformed it. And in that transformation, they had finally found what wealth could never buy: peace. Marcus and David's story reminds us that our actions in life and in past lives create consequences that ripple forward through time. But karma isn't punishment, it's education. It's the universe giving us a chance to learn what we failed to understand before. The Thompsons had to learn humility, compassion, the truth that wealth without wisdom is meaningless. And through their deaths, they learned. If this story moved you, if it made you think about your own choices and your own family, please take a moment to subscribe to What? I'm Dead? Every Thursday and Sunday at 8 p.m. EST, we bring you true stories from the other side, accounts of what happens when we die, based on Spiritist doctrine and psychographed communications. Hit that notification bell, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and leave a comment telling us, do you believe in karma? Do you think our past lives affect our present? We want to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. See you in the next story.